Welcome home. Welcome to a series dedicated to understanding and experiencing our original home. What is sweeter than the home? And the home means parents, family, comfort, and security. And we have revised in the previous episodes how we can be in the home now and at the same time enjoy our parts here on this stage of the planet Earth and experience the peace of the home, experience that we belong to this all-inclusive home. We have seen how being in the experience of the home, we are in the company of the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Parent, Supreme Mother, and Supreme Father, the company of God. When we are in the company of God, we experience our highest awareness, our highest qualities, and we can share those with others. Whether we share the experience of home through words or through thoughts and vibrations, others will benefit and will be grateful to this opportunity to be reminded of their original home. There is such a confusion now in our world that anyone who can indicate a way to return back home will be welcomed by everyone. There is no position now in this world to experience and to see our home. It is as if something is trying to keep us in ignorance, in darkness, in the slavery towards the senses and towards matter. We would like to understand deeper how can we get back home and when are we going to go back home. Our experience of home now is through meditation. We connect our mind and divine intellect with that place which is a way of being, and it is an awareness of being in the home. We have explained that it does not mean that we travel somewhere beyond the sky, but it means that with the mind and the intellect, we take a jump into an awareness that we are without bodies. We are eternal beings of light, bodiless, invisible, and incorporeal. When we do that, we have for a few moments the experience of the home, and that experience can stay with us for a very long period of time. The benefits of experiencing the original home, even for a few seconds, can be a lifelong benefit. And we would like to inquire, is it possible to go back home? And how? What is the right method? Now we understand that home is a place of complete purity, perfection, where God is living. And our state right now is one of imperfection, of impurity. Then how can we get back into a home of complete purity and perfection? Is our desire now to go back home, or is it in our desire to go to heaven? As we described, there are two different worlds. Heaven is completely different from the home. Most of the spiritual schools would use one for the other, would use heaven actually to refer to home. And they would not understand that heaven is a place on earth. Heaven is a place where we reap the fruit of our good actions. And heaven is a corporeal world where we enjoy our life on earth in bodies, whilst home is an incorporeal world without bodies where we all belong. Home includes all souls, whilst heaven, according to all spiritual traditions, includes only a certain number of souls that are reaping the fruit of their action. They are taking the reward of their good karma. What is the relationship between home and this planet, this world? Is it possible to understand that we are going from here to home, and from home we are coming back into this playground? Is this a model that is possible for us? And where is the place of heaven in this coming and going from the home? One example that we can look at are the writings of the ancient Egypt, and that are called the Book of Dead. The name of this text is also the Book of those emerging into the light. It is a collection of writings written by priests over 1,000 years ago, more than 2,500 years ago, and they were placed in the tombs, on the coffins, and they had the purpose of accompanying the soul of the deceased in their afterlife journey. Those writings, the Book of Dead, or the Book of those emerging into the light, are divided into 4 parts. In the first part, it is described how the dead, the deceased one, is resurrecting, and it is taking the same body. The body is resurrected into speech and movement. The second part of the book would be the journey of that one who was dead to get to the house of gods. On the third part, it would be described how they would travel in the sky and reach that house of Osiris, the highest god. And after some kind of judgment, they would come into a place that is like a heaven. The fourth book would describe this place of heaven-like happiness and abundance, where the deceased one would continue their life eternally in the company of gods. The place where they end is named the Field of Reefs, and it is described as if it is a heaven. It is completely beautiful and plenty of resources, plenty of food, plenty of water. All the fields are rich. There is some work involved in being here, but it is highly enjoyable. The one that has died will live here in the company of the gods, and it will even eat and enjoy whatever the gods are enjoying here. Now, what is described in this Book of Dead from the ancient Egypt more than 2,000 years ago sounds a mixture between what is possible in the physical world and what would be possible in heaven. In a sense, it has nothing to do with our home, but it does suggest that reason says the soul that leaves this body will be able to take another body. It is not the same body that is resurrected to life, and it is not that the dead one will take the same body and travel in that body. No, it is a soul that remains, because the soul is eternal and the soul is alive. The soul takes a new body and it continues its journey. And that journey can continue for a while in different bodies until it may reach the time to go back into the sky, as we call the home belonging to the sky. And we have understood that this sky doesn't mean the physical sky. Our home is not up there in that physical sky. Our home belongs to a higher consciousness, as if an angelic consciousness. Beyond the angelic consciousness is a highest on high consciousness, which exists in the presence of God. So when the ancient Egyptians are describing this journey, the journey of the soul that takes back their body, and then they go into a journey to meet the gods, and then they go up in the sky, and they end up in heaven. This makes sense to some extent. It is a soul that leaves one body, and then it will take another body, and it will continue the journey in this physical drama, in this physical world, and it will continue the journey up to a certain point when it will finally go home, and from the home it will go to heaven. All of that makes sense. However, when is that going to happen? If we are to consider the possibility of reincarnation, the possibility that the soul does not have only one life here, only one birth here, but it continues as if going in a circle, as if going into a cycle of birth and rebirth. So if we take this in consideration, then are we stuck here on this planet taking birth and rebirth over and over again? There is a pure desire of the human soul to experience once again the home. In the home there is God, there is eternal peace, there is a divine family of souls. There are so many benefits, and there is as if a long-lasting desire to be back home. When is that going to happen? And what is the relationship between home and heaven? As we understand, heaven is here on this planet. When are we going to go to heaven? And when are we going to go to home? We have so many questions, and neither science nor religions have any answers. There is a huge confusion in all spiritual traditions about home and about heaven. And science does not even want to address these questions. What is our best way to understand the place of home and the place of heaven in our journey? Let us try to understand this by seeing that our starting position is home. Our starting position is this highest awareness that we described as being the awareness in the presence of God. When we are in the awareness of the home, we are in the awareness of being complete, perfect, and eternal. We describe the home as the awareness of the highest qualities. And in the home, we describe the soul as being like a star, it is silently radiating those qualities of peace, of silence, of stillness, and in the awareness of being eternal. This highest on high consciousness is the consciousness of being in the company of God. God is the one that is the highest on high. And God is the one that is always in the home. Home is eternal, and home is the place that includes all souls. All souls belong to the home. All souls belong to this supreme home where our awareness is of being supremely peaceful, supremely pure. It's a state of being in complete silence. There are no sense organs to perceive the physical world. There is no even a thought about the physical world. From the home, souls are coming on the stage of the planet Earth. We come as if as visitors. And when the soul is coming as a visitor, they come into a body. And we are using this body for a certain duration of time. The body belongs to the physical world, and as everything that is in the physical world, it is constantly changing and it has an end. Each body has an end, so the soul will continue the journey on the stage of the planet Earth in another body. And this journey continues for a certain duration of time. We call this the cycle of birth and rebirth. We understand that the soul has only one life. The soul is eternal. The soul is always alive. But on the stage of the planet Earth, the soul is taking birth and rebirth for a certain period of time. We are now seeing how by coming into this cycle of birth and rebirth, we are changing our awareness from the awareness of the home, the awareness of being in the company of God, in the consciousness of the highest possible qualities, that is eternal purity, eternal and supreme peace. From that consciousness, we are coming into the consciousness of being associated with the body. And through the association with the body, we start to be as if impressed by what we see, by what we hear, what we touch, what we experience in the physical world. And all these impressions are changing our awareness. We change from being aware that we are eternal, divine souls into the awareness of being the body. We start to identify with the body, to believe that we are the body, and to consider ourselves as being these limited human beings. We have completely forgotten in this journey that we are souls belonging to an eternal home, the highest on high home with the highest on high God. During the journey, we continue to have different experiences, to go from one body to another for a certain duration of time. And in this spiritual model, we consider the duration of this cycle to be one that is relatively short. It is not millions of years, it is only 5,000 years. When we understand the duration of the cycle as being only 5,000 years, we see ourselves as being able to remember or to understand our journey, and also to understand that this cycle of 5,000 years will have an end. At the end of the cycle, it is a time to go back home. This model has a very clear description of how we come from the home on the planet Earth to play our parts, to take bodies and to enjoy experiencing through the sense organs. And at the end of this cycle of 5,000 years, we go back home. From the home, after we are refreshed and energized and empowered in the presence of God, we will come down once again on the same cycle. This is a model that uses the understanding of the cycle to understand that we are not eternally on the home, neither we are eternally on the physical material stage. We are coming and going at regular intervals to our home. We are coming from our home on this physical stage. We spend some time here enjoying and experiencing all different kinds of experiences, from unlimited happiness to quite a lot of sorrow. And then when all of that is finished, we return back home. And we don't stay eternally in the home. There is no eternal liberation in the home. But after being refreshed, being empowered, being in the company of the Supreme God, we return once again on the stage. This is a cycle of coming and going from the home, coming from the home on the physical stage, being on the association with the bodies, with the matter for a while, and then returning back home. This model sounds quite plausible to some of us, and it is reasonable that we are neither eternally stuck in a home that is a home of silence, neither are we deemed to be on a home or on a temporary home, physical home, the planet Earth, to experience sorrow as we do now. There must be an end to this sorrow that human beings are experiencing now, and there must be a return to our original nature of peace and love and happiness. The model of coming and going from the home is reasonable in the sense that when we come down from that home, we come down in a perfect form. we come down in a form that is of perfection, and in that perfection we experience the highest happiness. And that is what we all remember as being heaven. When we come down from home, we come down on a state that is plentiful, full of everything that is in the nature, being in complete abundance, being in complete happiness, being in complete harmony. We do have a right to experience that heaven-like world. And after heaven, we take other experiences on the planet Earth. We take other bodies, we take other companies, and we start to expand and to see different places and have the company of different souls until the time comes that everything finishes in that cycle and we return back home. This model has a simple and clear explanation of everything. The home is a place where all souls reside together with the Father, with the Supreme Parent, with God. Heaven is a place where a few souls are coming depending on their good actions. And then our whole journey on the planet Earth, on this physical world, is a journey that includes everyone. Everyone will come on this journey, and everyone will take several births, or at least one birth, before returning back home. Let us experience once again the peace and the serenity of our home before going back into the activity that we have to perform today. It is a practice to start the day with being connected with our home. We are connected with our home when we become completely detached from the physical senses, from the interests in the material world, and we take as if a leap of faith. The awareness takes a jump into the awareness of the home, into the consciousness of being bodiless, being eternal, being like a tiny star of light. And we connect the intellect with God. God is a central point of the home, a radiant being of light. In silence, we are connected with the qualities of God. I hope it becomes easier every day to experience the original home and to take on that power and that peace from the highest on high, Almighty God. Join us tomorrow again to continue understanding our cycle of birth and rebirth and the relationship between home, heaven, and this cycle. Thank you for joining us.